I remember when I was younger. I think I was about 14, 15 years old. I remember how much I would argue with people, whether it would be their opinion about something or just them in the middle of a conversation. I remember how much I always wanted to prove my point, how I always wanted to be right. And I remember always being stressed out. I was annoyed. I was never happy, and I'd find myself being angry. And every time someone would ask me, "Why are you angry?" I wouldn't know why. So I really started to think back to these moments. And I realized that when I was in school, when something would annoy me, I wouldn't say anything. Mostly because I was a shy kid. But at the same time, I had more peace when I was quiet. Even if something did annoy me, it didn't concern me. Now, obviously, this could be different in different scenarios. But for me, nothing like that would occur. Nothing too extreme. So I took note of this, and I started to realize every time I stayed quiet, I would be more peaceful. I'll be more relaxed. I wouldn't have to worry about my day being ruined. So one day I decided at home to try this out. And I tried it out. And it was pretty good. This whole day I was relaxed. I didn't worry about anything. I didn't have to argue with anyone. And for the first time in a while, I was happy. I didn't find myself yelling at my brother or my sisters just because I disagreed with them. I heard some of those things, they were talking about, and I stayed quiet. And me staying quiet just helped me relax. It brought me more peace, and I realized that my peace is more important than trying to prove a point that doesn't even matter, that we'll forget about in a couple of days. So I started to apply this philosophy everywhere in my life. I move on to high school, and I see a lot of these worthless conversations that aren't productive. And I'll be like, it doesn't concern me. So I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut. I stayed quiet, and then the problem would get solved on its own. Someone else would solve it, and I didn't have to go in and interfere. Now, this might sound weird or a bit cowardice towards other people, but I think it helped me out. Really just focusing on myself and keeping my space clean of people I didn't want around just helped me become a more productive person. Now, when we say the term silence, it's a term usually used in a bad way. Like someone is silencing you, usually by force. But for me, I made the decision to be silent. Now, that's the difference. There is a time and place where you have to speak out against something. But when you make your own decision of being silent, it's usually not as severe as other situations. The main point I'm trying to get across is that if it's something meaningless, not worth your time, doesn't improve yourself, your self development, or self improvement, just leave it alone. It's not worth giving up your peace for it. Trust me, bro. I tried it and it helped. I also tried the other side of always arguing with others. It wasn't worth it. And after I realized it wasn't worth it, I just started to slowly practicing this silence. Now, if you ever find yourself in a situation where you feel like you have to speak out, I recommend that you think first before you speak. Is this matter really important to me? Is it going to further my self improvement? Or is this going to hold me back and I'm going to be arguing for 5 minutes straight over something completely pointless? And that's why I always recommend think before you speak. When you think before you speak, Nothing dumb will ever come out of your mouth. If you just blurt out things that come straight to your head, you're gonna say something stupid. And people are gonna start thinking of you as that guy who just says stupid things and can't take a break. But being silent is the ultimate superpower. You start to develop a different sense. Like now you have an understanding of everything that's going around because you kept your mouth shut and you open up your ears and you're finally listening. That's also what science brought me. I would keep my mouth shut and listen more. I started understanding different ways to solve a problem, either between me or my friends. And I find how peaceful and productive it was. When you listen more instead of talk more, you start to find out a lot of different things. You start to realize what's important to you and what isn't important. And what I recommend you do right now is to start listening and be more silent. Silence is a power not many have. People think their opinion is important. It'll just be forgotten in a couple of days. Now, if it's a matter that it truly impacts you, the people around you, or your self-improvement, obviously speak out. But if it's something pointless, stay silent. You'll learn a lot more that way. As always, I hope you found this video valuable. Keep improving. Share this to anyone who needs it and become the man you're always meant to be.